Not the worst, but go read the graphic novel or watch the animated movie instead. What it do, ladies and dudes? Jawz in the booth. You know who I be. It's your friendly neighborhood vulgar desperado.
And the chivalry, the gentleman bastard.
And today we got a review for The Flash, aka Flashpoint, the Ezra Miller-led DCEU rebooting film that is supposed to be good. We're going to let you know if it actually is or not, but you know what to do before we get into it. Please hit the like. Please hit that subscribe. We're on the road to 1,000.
Creep up.
Thank you very much. Alright, for those that don't know or been living under a rock, this is the minutes known as Ezra Miller's solo film as The Flash. It's actually adapting one of the more sicker Flash stories, in my personal opinion, Flashpoint. And where essentially Barry Allen, the Flash, he goes back in time to save his mother from dying and essentially, changing history. And unlike the movie, or the book, the original comic source, this does do some deviations from the original plot, minusing and taking out and changing things. And, overall, it's okay.
Yeah, I'm agreeing on that one. Like, it kind of sitting there, it feels like it's just a time travel movie, not a Flash movie for a second. And I'm kind of like,
and I like time travel,
like...
so there's some intrigue and fun in that, but if you are familiar with Flashpoint, you will be a bit more disappointed, especially if you read it when it first came out, because it's a very heavy story. There's a very deep relationship and deep story with Barry and his mother and all that, and not to say that this movie lacks some of that heart, but it's something that has like the gentleman bastard kind of. Oh, and you know what? Spoilers.
Yep.
Even though he does save his mom and have a couple of really one heart to heart and then another heart to heart at the end of the movie, it doesn't really capitalize on his whole purpose for doing this like the books do.
Yeah.
I do think that it's like Flashpoint if the writers of the original Flashpoint, instead of wanting to be deep and epic, they went comedic.
True.
A lot of people
this was a lot more funny, a little bit more lighthearted until they got into the actual battles.
Exactly. A lot of people are going to talk about the whole member berries and nostalgia factor of this movie because you're hearing the old music. You're seeing Michael Keaton's Batman. There are a lot of cool callbacks, to be perfectly honest, and even callbacks that you were not expecting, like Nicolas Cage's Superman. You're like, the fuck? And so in some ways, it's cool when it does that shit, but again, if you know Flashpoint, like one of the major key factors that was like really cool and kind of prevalent, but also in the backdrop of the Flashpoint story, is the Amazons versus Atlantean War. That's not fucking happening here.
No, not at all. They have not even touched on, spoken of.
Yeah, so you're getting a lot of flash-on-flash action, and, it's not bad depending on how you feel about Ezra Miller's Barry Allen and Flash, and let's kind of go into that. Many people don't like it because they don't think that is Barry Allen. I would agree. I would think this is some kind of weird amalgamation of a Wally and Barry and a modern take on it.
Yeah.
And for me personally, it's not that bad. I think he's serious when he needs to be serious, and he's funny for the most part because that's what focus groups and audiences have told people. So, and it kind of is what it is. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
it's like you gotta kind of take it at that point because, like you said, he does have the good serious moments. He can do the yell, like he gets those deep basses and stuff. But like, it's just
Ezra Miller, for as crazy as that mofo is, and as mind you, if you're not unfamiliar or you're not familiar with his
antics,
he was out there like starting a cult, kidnapping children, fighting women, all out in Hawaii. It was wild.
Like whatever he wanted
he
to
was
act
a menace.
like.
He was a menace. He was a menace to society.
He said, "This is the fuck I do. I'm Flash, bitch."
Yeah,
like,
this was
calm
he
that
was
shit
a god
down.
in another universe. He was wild. But that being said, he can act. The dude is a pretty good actor, and he acts well with himself.
So it seems.
Maybe that's why this nigga was going crazy. I don't fucking know. But he plays the young Barry, which is kind of more like a very ignorant
Yeah.
Wally, if you will. You know, a borderline retarded Wally. But you know, it's like a fun popcorn flick. But like again, if you know comics, if you're expecting, because the first trailer makes it seem very epic.
Yeah, like
But
it's gonna go all the way in on that.
yeah,
Like,
but once you get into the movie, you're kind of like, oh, this is more another Marvel
yep,
ripoff, humorous, and I mean, some of it's cool. It's not like it's not funny. I can definitely tell you it's not woke. If you have any
definitely
curiosities about
wasn't.
that, it's definitely there's like maybe one capitalism joke with Batman and Ben Affleck's Batman, and that was okay, you know, but like not like okay as in it wasn't like annoying. It was just annoying. It was just yeah, it
Yeah,
was whatever.
just kind of thrown in there,
Yeah.
like you were saying on the way back. It was just like we could have definitely had a better type of moment right there, especially between him and Wonder Woman. So
Yeah, Wonder Woman, Gal Gadot does make a cameo, and that was pretty cool. I mean, I think it was cool because all of them kind of are back, but Henry Cavill, which is a little
yeah,
fucked up, and you know,
just
but
CGI show his back.
yeah, you know, like so that was a little, you know, it is what it is. But I do think that the cameos, the callbacks to the old universes, the old films, that is fine.
Oh
That is
yeah.
all fun and dandy. But you know, for another multiverse kind of, you know, trope film, blah 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 blah, go see Spider Man. You know,
Yeah,
go see Across the
exactly.
Spider
See,
Verse.
see something where they actually do it well. Because I mean, especially like, yeah, Flash had his introduction in Justice League, but this was his movie,
Yeah.
and it's just like I was saying, it felt like it's just a time traveling movie, not a Flash movie. Kind of like superheroed movie, maybe super powered movie, but it was just like time travel, and I'm like, I'm down with that. But Flash wise, I felt they could have definitely, it could have made him at least more. Like it showed how he got his powers and everything, yeah. But it's just like, this Barry is all nice and powered up already because oh, we saw him in Justice League. The young Barry, you saw how I mean raw potential he has, sure, but it's just like no skill, no nothing, just uncoordinated. I'm gonna go do whatever, go over here, do all, and
And that was
it
kind of the
was
point. I think that was the point of the film. You know, I mean, they wanted to have the more experienced Barry as like the mentor to his younger idiotic self. And you know, I mean, like I said, that's fine if it wasn't Barry Allen. Maybe if it was a different kind of,
yeah,
you know, because the thing I think the biggest problem with Ezra Miller's version of the Flash is Barry Allen is just a very serious character. Maybe not a very serious character. I think that's like, you know, not doing justice to Barry, but I think, you know, he's a little too quirky and overly anxious to fully kind of embrace like who Barry is.
yeah,
You know, Barry's a little bit cooler. I would say Barry's a little bit more, you know, like I said, a little bit more serious. You know, this Ezra Miller's version is a little like skittish. You know, they kind of
true,
play into that
yep,
anxiety baby version, and you know, his younger self is more a play on like the kind of burnout, you know, loser who, hey, my life is just going good. I don't really give a shit about anything. You know, he's kind of an idiot, and you know, I think. You know, if you again taking out pre notions of who Barry Allen is as a character, you will be able to enjoy that more.
yeah.
You know, I do think that you know, because there's no real villain, it's more of a you know, me versus self kind of story where the main problem is, you know, your actions that are kind of
Yep.
unraveling
The
everything.
consequences that you have to deal with.
Exactly,
Yep.
you know, it does make it feel less like a superhero movie, which makes it a little bit more interesting. You know, you're not waiting for the bad guys to come kick down the doors. It's more like, okay, well, how are you going to get out of this? How are you going to fix this? How are you going to figure it out? And that makes it kind of intriguing and entertaining to watch. That being said, I do think that, you know, because you take out the Amazon versus Atlanteans war, and you kind of change up how the like you add in the two Barrys instead of Barry living a different life with his mother being alive as in the original. And a bigger key factor for me personally was the fact that it's Bruce Wayne in this alternate world and not Thomas Wayne.
Yep.
I get it, the member factor, you want Michael Keaton, but the story is way deeper with Thomas Wayne because he, if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure he kind of sacrifices himself or dies, or even if he doesn't, I know a big motivation for Thomas Wayne in Flashpoint was Bruce. He was like, oh, my son's alive in another world. fuck, nigga, I have to kind of go
Exactly.
and, jump
I'm
into
gonna
that
do exactly
shit.
what I can to
You
make
know?
sure he stays alive.
Exactly.
Like,
So, with Bruce here, it's, the motivation is you see it, Barry's like, hey, I know you can hear me when Bruce, he denied to help him, and he's like, I lost my parents too, and like he kind of gets him back into action, whatever. But at the same time, I think it has more gravitas with Thomas Wayne. There's more gravitas with the Amazons, and
oh yeah.
because fuck, I forgot which one kills which. I want to say Wonder Woman kills Aquaman. It could be vice versa, but I'm pretty sure Wonder Woman kills Aquaman in their war. Like, a lot of sick shit happens
Exactly.
in that, and it's not bad, but you're taking out characters, and in this case, you're adding in somebody different and new into that with Supergirl.
Yep.
So let's talk about her. How do you personally feel about?
I mean, Kara, it wasn't. I thought that instead having her there was a different kind of change. Like, I got how doing the timelines, making it to where this ripple definitely had a huge effect. It changed that, and that was like a good feel for the story. It went well with everything like that. Of course, it was kind of like, I mean, it was a big ass backhand to just Henry Cavill. Like, yo, we don't need you in the movie at all. Like, we took you out very clearly. But
I think that actually would have been cool if that was Henry, because like, especially they made him a scrawny version, like how he's supposed to be.
Exactly.
Like, oh shit, I didn't know he was in the movie.
Because I mean, that's how even she was too when we first find her, nice and scrawny, no sunlight for years, and it's just like, okay, well, you just literally switched them out.
Yeah,
so it's like,
I think they kind of fucked up on that. I mean, we know DC been fucking up with him.
Yep.
And you're right. I think that, like, I can kind of accept that it was Supergirl by, like you said, different versions, because you don't have Thomas Wayne.
All
so
the different timelines, the different spaghetti.
Exactly, right? Yeah, that's a nod to the movie. Like, it's just fucking spaghetti. But, and the girl, I mean, personally, look, I like blonde Supergirl. And they do acknowledge that with Christopher Reeve and Supergirl nod at the end of the movie, but they kind of use this different Supergirl woman. And if I can find the picture from this old comic series, not that old, but kind of old, early 2000s, it was Superman Batman. And there's on one of the covers, there is a Supergirl who looks very much like the chick they got. She has the short hair like that, and I think that's kind of the look they were going for, even though I prefer the blonde. But she was cool, she kind of played, a little Rage Out, like, pretty well.
Yeah, I think she did, definitely. Like,
too bad she just could not handle Zod. That nigga
Zod is just, it's like he was saying in the original for Superman, like, Superman was bathed in this radiance forever. Like, he knew what this sunlight was going to do to him. Kara had it for like 5 seconds.
Well, even more, like, it's like Zod. He's like, I was born to be a warrior.
Yeah, he was a general.
Like, she
everything.
was like not ready for that shit at all.
Yep.
Like, she was like captured. So of course Zod was gonna murk, and he did, and it was cool. However, and I'll be real, I think that was, obviously probably the more exciting part was the ending, the end battles and whatnot. But there's a lot of talking, a lot of non-fighting before that. So, and I won't say it's slow, because it's a lot of talking, like a lot of Ezra Miller fast talking, and there's a lot of intrigue. But it's like, I think because the thing is missing so much of the cool factors that make you like, hey, have you seen Flashpoint, the animated movie? Have you read Flashpoint? Like, you would recommend it to this. Like, for this, like, or recommend it to people, but for this one, you would be more hesitant to, because it doesn't have those factors.
It doesn't.
Like the craziness of the Amazons going to war with the Atlanteans, and then like it was Wonder Woman, Diana, and Arthur, Aquaman. They were like lovers too, past war lovers, and they were at war with each other. Like, that's some random shit, but it's like crazy multiverse, alternate universe type shit that makes the story that much better.
Exactly.
The fact that Thomas Wayne's alive and not Bruce, and you're seeing an even older man do like, and he was even more of a dick. He had the red eyes on his shit,
Exactly. Like, his suit was kind of cool. I did like Thomas Wayne's Batman suit. That was kind of G.
So, like I said, it just kind of takes away from that. And, I think, and like I said, they went the more humorous route, which is okay if you aren't that familiar with it. I can tell you, and it was actually a pretty decently sized packed theater. It wasn't like packed to the brim, but there was a lot of people in there. A lot of motherfuckers liked it. A lot of motherfuckers were clapping. A lot of motherfuckers were laughing at the jokes. I was like, okay, so it's not that bad. I don't know if it's like, I mean, if I'm gonna recommend any multiverse movie, superhero movie, go fucking watch Spider-Man.
Yep.
But again, what I wanted to say was like because they went the humorous route, and again, that's fine. I think if they had the other Flash actor, the Grant Gustin
Yeah,
guy,
the one from the TV
yeah, from
show.
the
Yep.
TV show, if they had him and they made it a more serious story, it would kind of work a little bit better. Like I think
Yeah.
he would work with the actual Flashpoint story.
Yep.
Like you take the Flash TV show actor and you use the actual story, it works fine. But being that this is Ezra Miller's, we're trying to sell tickets, we're trying to do like Marvel, we're trying to not be edgy. Yeah, then this movie's fine for what they are.
Yep.
It's not terrible. It's not going to be like, it's not going to knock, unless you're a big fan of this version. It's not going to knock you out of your seat, but it's
Like a
okay.
solid 6.
It's like a solid 6.5 even, because I'll be real, like there's some funny parts.
Oh yeah,
There's some funny parts, but you could, like you said, you could have some better action. You could definitely have some better CG at time. A lot of people are talking about that.
Oh, yes, they are.
And in some ways, it's like bad because you're like, okay, well, I've seen better CG, but I'm also not like super. I'm not a purist on that shit. Like,
yeah, I don't need it to look exactly like a person. As long as you get it close and it looks, kind of smooth with the motion.
CG, I mean, like most CG, you can tell it's CG, so I kind of don't care about that. Like, because I don't know if we want it to look like real. That's where it gets all creepy. But in my personal opinion, I think, like, because I saw an article, the director, he defended the bad visual, saying that's how it's supposed to look to his character, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, I can, whatever your artistic vision. My personal opinion is, these niggas ran out of money using their special effects on fucking AI, Christopher Reeves, AI, fucking Nicolas Cage, and that kind of AI-ish of Ezra Miller when they're using two of him. I think they blew their budget there, and then for those other scenes, they were like, fuck it, nigga, it's already weird enough.
Well, we're going to get what we can real quick.
Exactly.
Yep.
So,
the Speed Force was like kind of cool. I liked how it worked out when he got the dome around him and everything at first.
It was different because I was like, what? How are they going to do that? And it was like it's like an amphitheater.
Yeah,
it was almost like
where you get to look at everything, you see everything, and then it's like how he starts moving backwards, moving forwards, and it's like it goes around, and it's cool. I like how they actually kind of built the Speed Force in a different way, that like a different visual representation.
Right,
of
because
it.
I think most times with the Speed Force, I feel like it's because it's comics. They're not in the TV cartoons, they're running, and it's just endless running.
Yep, continuous.
And, I mean, look, save your money. You know what I mean? Save the budget. It's probably blown, but I thought it was kind of a cool take on it to kind of look at it in that. Even though they look kind of creepy sometimes.
Yeah.
I was like, that. I'll say that. The CG there in the Speed Force, I was like, this is a little spooky. This is a little weird. Like, this is kind of like nightmare fuel. You know?
Because they would be stuck in those certain positions and everything, too.
You're like, it's a little weird. And maybe there's something to it. It is what it is, but I don't think it's the worst. Or I mean, it's just, I guess, it's not even so much about being the worst. It's just really, I just didn't care that much about it. I mean, what else can we say? Michael Keaton was okay, he wasn't terrible.
Yeah, like, I don't know, the double Urza, it was like Ezra. I can't help it.
I know, me either sometimes,
But it's just like the doubles of them all the time was just, it worked, like you were saying, for the story, but it's just, you guys could have made it to where he was somebody else. You could have had just one other character who was there,
Yeah, you could have just had him do it himself. Or, because they were looking for Cyborg, they could have had Cyborg in there and him being like maybe regular. Just really change up the story, right?
He could have been the regular Victor instead of actually Cyborg,
Exactly.
Something
he was
like that.
Victor, maybe they went to college, started going to college together.
Because he was still smart. I knew he still was doing his own robotic shit.
I think he was a student still, or
so he could have helped me get my powers.
It could have worked. There could have been. Basically, it's not a bad movie. There just could have been better choices to make it a better movie because there's something there. But again, like the original Flashpoint story just has so much more going for it, and instead you have a lot of Ezra Miller going back and forth with himself. And it's like, all right, if you want to show off homie's acting chops, fine, you're doing that there. He's not terrible, but at the same time, is that what you really want for a Flash movie?
No.
Not really. Dudes. Like,
I want lots and lots of speed, and
Exactly. You want the action.
They showed off. I think they did show off, like, okay, this is how fast he is right now, and all that stuff. But it's just like, you could have done more with his speed.
Yeah, they could have done more. I think that's the best way that you can sum up this movie. Is it's okay, but they could have done more.
Yeah.
You know, and I think we'll wrap it up there. Unless you got anything else you want to add.
Nah, I mean, that's it. It could have done more. They could have really done.
Yeah. Well, thank y'all for sticking with us this long. We'll try to do these shorter next time, but you know what it is. Jawz in the booth. Please hit that like and subscribe. Ogre Desperado.
Gentleman Bastard.
Catch you on the next one.
We out.
Peace.